Hello everybody, and welcome back to Certified Collectibles. This is another episode of First Appearances of the Week. This is Wednesday, January 12th, 2022. We'll be giving you all the first appearances hitting your comic shops today. Now this week we have a pretty good lineup for you guys. I think we have 7 first appearances and 7 honorable mentions, so 14 titles in all to go through. A nice group to take a look at today. So let's go ahead and get started for the first appearances of the week ending January 14th, 2022. First up from DC Comics, Detective Comics number 1048. This features the first cameo appearance of Dr. Ocean. He appears in the shadows. Now, Detective Comics is one of the tentpole series for DC Comics. We tell you guys this all the time. It really all depends on what DC does with Dr. Ocean, this new character they're introducing. This is also the first cameo appearance and not the first full appearance. So if Dr. Ocean plays a big part in future storylines, or he gets picked up for some sort of big screen or small screen project, then this is a title worth owning. But right now, given that this is a cameo appearance, and we really don't know how important Dr. Ocean is going to be, this is one we think you can put on your B-list for now. Next up from DC Comics, Justice League vs. the Legion of Superheroes number 1. This features the first team appearance of the new Gold Lanterns. This is a 6-issue limited series. Now, this is an interesting concept here. You have the Justice League versus the Legion of Superheroes, and this is the first team appearance of the new Gold Lanterns. Once again, we really don't know how important a team of new Gold Lanterns is going to be. This is an interesting title with Justice League and Legion of Superheroes, but once again, this may be more of a interesting title than a title worth owning in your collection for long-term investment. So this is one we think you probably put on your B-list for now as well. Now next up from Marvel Comics, Death of Doctor Strange Bloodstone number 1. This features the first appearance of Lyra Bloodstone, sister of Elsa. Now this is a sub-series of Doctor Strange, and this is the first appearance of Lyra Bloodstone. We really don't know how important this character is going to be going forward, but we typically do say pick up any first appearances of new characters in Marvel titles. You know, Marvel, Disney is still churning out a ton of projects, whether it's small screen, big screen, or streaming. So this is one that you may want to spec on and pick up. Like I said, it really depends on what they do with Lyra Bloodstone, if they introduce her into the Marvel Universe, or into a streaming series or a TV show. That'll be a big driver for this issue, but if they don't, and the character goes nowhere, the issue won't go anywhere either. So this is a speculative bet if you choose to pick it up, otherwise put it on your B-list. Next up from Marvel Comics, Daredevil Woman Without Fear number 1. This features the first appearance of Akka, a member of the Hand who recruited Elektra. Now once again, this is probably going to be more of a speculative bet if you choose to pick this one up. This is the first appearance of Akka. This is a new character in the Marvel Universe, and Daredevil has picked up a lot of fans recently over the past couple of years. The Daredevil franchise has become a lot more popular. But once again, it really depends on what they do with this character. If they introduce this character into the streaming series or TV show, that could be a big driver for this particular issue. This is one probably worth specking on. Go ahead and pick this one here up. Next up from Marvel Comics, Devil's Reign Superior 4 number 1. This features the first team appearance of the Superior 4. These are alternate universe versions of Dr. Octopus, including Wolverine, Hulk, and Ghost Rider versions. Now this is one that may be worth picking up and specking on. This is an interesting idea. They are bringing in alternate universe versions of Dr. Octopus, which include these characters, Wolverine, Hulk, and Ghost Rider. This is one you may want to spec on, but you know, this is definitely a speculative bet. Put this on your B-list if you can't get them all. Otherwise, pick this one up. Next up from Marvel Comics, Ms. Marvel Beyond the Limit number 2. This features the first appearance of Corinne, the true identity of the shape-shifting Ms. Marvel doppelganger. Now, Ms. Marvel does have a fan base, but it's not necessarily one of Marvel's strongest titles or heavily collected titles, but there is a fan base for Ms. Marvel, and they are planning projects for Ms. Marvel and the Ms. Marvel universe. So this one here, once again, would be a speculative bet if you choose to pick this one up. This character is interesting, and it does sound like it could be an important character in one of the projects, whether it be small screen or big screen. So once again, this is a speculative bet if you choose to pick it up. Otherwise, you can put this one on your B-list. And finally for Marvel Comics, Wastelander's Black Widow number 1. This features the first appearance of Old Woman Black Widow. This also features the first appearance of the Lizard King, likely Dr. Kurt Connors, Lord of the Southern Domain of the post-apocalyptic US, specifically Florida, who was previously mentioned but unseen in this reality. Now the Old Woman, Old Man storylines from Marvel are very popular. Old Man Hawkeye, for instance, very popular with collectors and fans. So this one here may be popular as well. You know, Black Widow is one of the fan favorite characters, and this is the first appearance of Old Woman Black Widow. So this is one, once again, it's going to be more of a speculative bet if you choose to pick it up. But we think this one here might be worth grabbing. Go ahead and pick this one up if you can. Otherwise, keep an eye on it, put it on your B-list. And now for the honorable mentions. From Image Comics, Reign number 1. This is a 5-issue limited series that follows two lovers as an apocalyptic event of bright crystal splinters rain down from the sky. Now this one here we did highlight in a previous first appearance video. For whatever reason, the manufacturer chose not to release it at that particular time, so it's being released this week instead. This is one we do think is worth picking up. This story sounds like it can lend itself very well to TV or film, so this is one we do think you should spec on. Pick this one here up if you can. If you can't, put it on your B list. Next up from Volt Comics, We Ride Titans #1. This is a series about a dysfunctional family of pilots who operate kaiju fighting mechs. Now this one here sounds like it can lend itself very well to TV or film. Volt Comics hasn't really had a lot of their titles option for TV or film, but this one here sounds like it can lend itself very well to a sci-fi feature. This is about kaiju fighting mechs. Now there are a lot of kaiju movies out there already, and there have been some comics recently that come out that could be option as well. So this one here is definitely a speculative bet if you choose to pick it up, but we think this one here has promise. Go ahead and pick it up if you can. If you can't, put it on your B list. Next up from DC Comics, Batman Urban Legends #11. This features the origin of Ace the Bat Hound. Now this one here, we think you could probably put on your B list. I don't know how important the origin of Ace the Bat Hound is going to be, or the fact that Bat Hound actually exists in the DC universe. So this is a B list item in our opinion. Go ahead and put this on your B list. Keep an eye on it. Next up from DC Comics, Future State Gotham #9. This features the origin of the next Joker. Now this one here we definitely think is worth picking up. You know, the Joker is probably one of the most famous villains in the DC universe and one of DC Comics' most fan favorite characters overall. And this is the origin of the next Joker. We do think this one here is worth picking up. Grab this one here if you can. Next up from Image Comics, Spawn Scorched #1. This is the premiere issue of a team book that includes Spawn, Redeemer, Gunslinger, Medieval Spawn, and She-Spawn. Now, this is the premiere issue of this new title series, and this is a team-up book. This is one just because of the popularity of this Spawn universe that McFarlane has created. We think this one here is probably worth picking up for the cover price. You don't want to pay more for it later, but like with all the other Spawn titles, this is going to be heavily collected and kept nice over the years, so you might have to wait for quite a while to get a return on this book. But we think this one here is probably worth picking up for the cover price. Grab it if you can. If you can't, definitely address it later. Next up from Marvel Comics, Marvel's Voices Heritage #1. This is the second annual anthology of stories celebrating Native American characters. This also features the origin of River. One of the stories is also focused on Snowguard. Now, we typically say pick up all these Marvel's Voices titles. There are sometimes some hidden first appearance characters that come out later on, and for the cover price, it's probably worth picking up and speccing on. Pick this one here up if you can. If you can't, put it on your B list, keep an eye on it. And finally, for Marvel Comics, Star Wars The High Republic Eye of the Storm #1. This features the origin of Martian Row, the Eye of the Nihil. Now this one here we do think is worth picking up. This is the origin of the Eye of the Nihil. The Nihil, of course, are the main enemy in the High Republic storyline. This is a Star Wars title and a Marvel book. We do think this one here is definitely worth picking up and add to your collection. So there you have the 14 books that we have for you guys this week. Definitely some good titles in there to add to your collection. Please feel free to drop some comments in the comment section below. Give us a thumbs up if you like this video. And as always, please remember to subscribe to the channel for more videos like this. Thank you for joining us here at SUPEPIOR Collectibles, and we'll see you again next time.